there's so much traffic around non-duality these days, which is beautiful. We use that languaging, but it's completely resonant with everything that I've said. So when you drop into that center point, the luminous bardo dharmata, you're returning to your non-dual nature. The issue is, can duality recognize non-duality? No, it can't. I mean, like Trungpa Rinpoche said, ego cannot attend its own funeral. So this is one very real reason why you can't actually experience these sorts of things, because you and these experiences are contradictory in terms. But the most important thing here to bring it into applicable terms for us is when we're doing the hand over heart thing, this is a way to establish a non-dual, not two relationship to the contents of our being. So every time you're feeling fully, completely, that's a non-dual experience. Whenever you contract away from it, usually when it's too unwanted and you zip out of your body and into your conceptualizing head, you're feeding it, that's a dual experience. So what is beyond profound here, this is so profound, is what Trungpa Rinpoche, one of my main teachers, said in his introduction to the Tibetan Book of the Dead, that is so deep. When you're having this experience, so I'm trying to take this notion of non-duality that can sometimes be a little, abstract. I'm trying to bolt it into our immediate experience. When you put your hand over your heart and you pause and you allow yourself to feel 100%, you're inviting the experience of non-duality. And here's the way it works. What Trungpa Rinpoche said, and see if this isn't true for you. The absolute experience of duality is the experience of non-duality. Let me say this again. This is huge. The absolute experience of duality is the experience of non-duality. In other words, we're always in a non-dual reality. The path is perceptual, not actual. Let me say that again. The path is perceptual, not actual. You're not going anywhere. You're simply releasing the contractions and opening, there's those two narratives, opening the aperture of your awareness to realize, oh my gosh, I've been in a Pure Land my whole life. I've been in heaven my entire life. I've been in the Dharmata, non-duality, I-N, whatever term you want to live. I've been in that my entire life. The issue is I'm not recognizing it because I'm contracting away from it. And I contract away from it developmentally because there's no place for personal identity in that space. You/ego and that space are mutually exclusive. This is why something fully formed can't experience something fully formless, which is precisely why the untamed mind blacks out instead of lights up in deep dreamless sleep, and blacks out instead of lights up in the luminous bardo dharmata, because we're simply not familiar with it. The last thing around this, two things here, is the experience is fundamentally incredibly ordinary. So when you ask the teachers, what does it feel like? Well, my little riff here is we're driving for Hollywood on the psycho-spiritual path. We're driving to whatever. I like the notion of Hollywood. We're driving to Hollywood looking for some big parting of the sky experiences with angels and lights and choirs. But it's more like Kansas. It's more like Oklahoma. It's so ordinary what we're looking for. It's literally hiding in plain sight, which is precisely why we don't see it. And this is exactly why I love this line, Amrit, when Suzuki Roshi, the great Zen master, allegedly said, "Enlightenment was my biggest disappointment." Why did he say that? Because he was already so open. He was already so there that it was like literally the ultimate downer, the ultimate letdown. What we're looking for is so ordinary. And so if we understand this, along with hand over heart, this is the practice of non-duality. This is the practice of enlightenment. Yes, you can have these big, orgasmic, cataclysmic experiences, but you know what? The ecstasy, and don't take my word, test these teachings. The ecstasy is directly proportional to the preceding level of agony. In other words, if you're a really contracted mofo, and you open, oh my God, it's just going to be this massive psycho-spiritual orgasm. If you're already really open and you just go boop, like Suzuki Roshi did, it's really ordinary. And the reason this is important is pause, take a one breath meditation. Open your eyes. That's it. Here, now, this is it. There's nothing but this. The path is perceptual, not actual. Last thing, and this is huge, emptiness. This is another way to talk about this. So this is yet a third term. Emptiness is phenomenologically equivalent to non-duality in the awakened state. It's just the Buddhist way of talking. It's a funny way of talking about love. Emptiness is just a really funny way to talk about love. And so when you become empty of self, this is the thing that we're so afraid of. Oh my gosh, I don't exist. That's the fear of emptiness, the fear of the truth. When you finally recognize the true empty nature of your being, and you hinted at this, emptiness really means fullness. Empty of self means full of other. And so therefore, when people say, what does it feel like? Well, it feels like love and beauty and goodness and all the things that make us feel so full. And if you touch into those true senses, you realize one reason those experiences are so beautiful is because you're not there. That's what makes them beautiful. That's what makes them spiritual. So I want to emphasize this because these are really important points. Non-duality is always already right here and right now. Emptiness really means fullness. This is where wisdom, which is emptiness, leads to compassion, which is fullness. And this is when you know if somebody's really got it. It's not by what they say. It's by what they do and how they act and how they love and how they relate to the world and how they serve the world. You want to see somebody's realization, don't read their books. Don't listen to what they say. How do they live? Do they open the door for someone else? Do they smile at people? Are they kind? Are they good? Are they loving? That's where you see the applied applications of this.
Hey there, Inspired Evolutionary. If you absolutely loved this, well then here's a full conversation with this guest on the Inspired Evolution podcast. Check it out now.